Hello everyone, we're here in downtown Winnipeg, and today we're looking at a controversial issue. Should we open up Portage Main to pedestrians? So how do you feel about opening up Portage Main?
I think it's stupid.
And why do you say that?
Well, I think that the money that's be spent to open it up could be spent in a lot better ways. Roads, there's lots of stuff that taxpayers' money could be spent on besides that. And I don't know about you, but it's nothing but traffic problems. I can see none but traffic problems when they open it up. And I don't see too many people want to go across the street at Portage Main in the middle of January when the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour.
I live in downtown, and a couple of times I usually use the basement to go over that area.
Sorry, I don't know why, but I'm feeling
for me it's convenience because I usually walk through the basement. During the winter it's actually warmer. So from my point of view, it's even if they don't open up that pedestrian way, it would be okay for me.
I believe that we should absolutely open up Portage Main for everyone here.
And what is your main argument as to why we should?
There's a few. Accessibility is one. Obviously, I'm able-bodied. I'm okay to cross the underground perfectly fine, but there are those who are mobility impaired or visibility impaired that would make this underground very difficult to navigate and obviously time-consuming. And the alternatives just of going around to an intersection are also time-consuming and kind of aggravating, to be honest.
And a big issue with opening Portage Main is for wheelchair inaccessibility. So how do you respond to that?
From point of view of a person that uses a wheelchair, it should be hard for them because actually it takes a lot of time, 10 to 15 minutes to use the elevator, go down there and use the routes up there. So if I was a person that used a wheelchair, I would rather open up that pedestrian way. Yeah, it would be more convenient for them.
So you're against opening up for pedestrian traffic?
Absolutely.
So despite the issues with accessibility of getting from one side to the other?
That could be fixed. But I mean, it's not that hard to proceed a block up to the next crosswalk.
It has to happen. It must happen.
And why do you say that? What's your main argument as to
I think we need to take ourselves seriously as a city of the 21st century, and having an open space there at Canada's most notable intersection is critical to that.
I think it's a good idea. It'll increase pedestrian traffic, and it's very hard to get across there right now, and I think it'll help local businesses out in this corner a lot better.
I definitely don't want it open up to pedestrians at all. The underground concourse is fine. I can see problems with congestions, with traffic and stuff. It's already bad enough as it is.
I'd love to see Portage Main reopened. I think Portage Main is the center not just of Winnipeg, but of Canada, and it's a really iconic intersection. It's kind of in the middle of the Exchange, the Forks, downtown, all these places that have seen so much investment, so much growth, so many people moving downtown, and then at the very center you have Portage Main with barricades, and it's dead, and there's no foot traffic, there's no activity. It's not a fix for downtown, but I think it's a part of the puzzle in helping to kind of re-enliven the space.
I also want downtown to become a place where people want to live, to visit, and to hang out rather than just a place you drive through every single workday. And without having infrastructure that is accessible for pedestrians and all modes of traffic, you don't have that, people aren't going to want to stick around here.
Now, some people would say that by opening up Portage Main, we would have a lot more interaction with the city and more foot traffic just around it to make it more vibrant downtown. How do you respond to that?
I can't see that as all you're going to have is vagrants, bums, bumming money and cigarettes. That's all that's going to happen.
How do you normally interact with Portage Main? Are you a driver, pedestrian, both?
A little bit of both, but probably more so as a driver.
And what have your experiences been in both of those roles?
As a driver, it's always been fine. I've never had an issue with Portage Main. As a pedestrian, there have been times where I've been a bit confused by the tunnels or the underground. So it has been a bit more of an inconvenience as a pedestrian.
As a driver, do you think that opening up Portage Main to pedestrian traffic would affect your commute?
I'm not sure. I don't know what it would look like having that. I don't know if it would affect that much. I would need to look into it more.
Quite indifferent. If you want to open it up, then go for it. I feel like it would still there'll still be traffic and pedestrians.
So what do you think about opening up Portage Main?
There are two possibilities, and one is pro, one is con. And basically, there's a possibility of lots of collisions with pedestrian traffic in the summer when people want to cross. And at the same time, the people in the below establish their businesses on the expectation there'll be a lot of traffic year-round. And that wouldn't happen in the summer, especially when there are lots of visitors and they need that traffic. So there is a problem. So in a way, in the interest of those businesses established below, I don't think it should be opened.
Now, with a lot of businesses down here in the underground, with opening up Portage Main, they would be deprived of a lot of foot traffic. Mm-hmm. So how can we justify opening up Portage Main if we're going to take away business from these business owners?
Yeah, I don't think it's like an either or. That's for me anyways. Like, I don't think it's like we're doing above ground or we're doing below ground. I think there's a lot of opportunities for both. I mean, this concourse is super convenient for a lot of people, especially people that work in the towers surrounding. Like, they come down, they know where the bank is, they know where the Shoppers is, whatever. They run their errands. And people are such creatures of habit. I'm sure there'll still be a lot of business, even if and when Portage Main is reopened to pedestrians. I think making this neighborhood more walkable will increase foot traffic overall. And I think when you increase foot traffic overall, you increase kind of the value of properties in the neighborhood. It attracts more businesses. We have more competition downtown. I think that benefits all business downtown.
So what's your impression of this walkway and Portage Main having to go through here to cross the street?
Well, I think it would be much easier just to walk upstairs in the streets instead of like coming here, do the underground, and then go back outside. I think it's ridiculous to have that. So.
It's kind of spooky too, like coming downstairs. Kind of know we don't come from here, so it was kind of hard to know that it's an underpass.
Yeah.
And when you came to the underpass, it's kind of spooky to open the door. It smells like piss. And you're like, do I really have to go there?
I think it's time for that underground community to be cleaned up, some renovated, so that it's more happy for my friends. I mean, at the time when it first happened, I didn't care. Now I do. So I mean, there needs to be better accessibility.
I'm an able-bodied male, and it's easier for me than for a lot of people. I can't imagine being a person with mobility issues or a woman trying to cross that after 7 o'clock, because it's a terrifying place. I get anxious in there in the evening when it's empty.
I both live downtown and I work downtown, and I have to use the underground every day.
And what's your impression of this underground space?
This is actually quite a nice underground space from my own perspective. I don't have anything against it, but I think that everyone should have the choice whether they want to take the underground system or to cross the street.
Now, there's been estimates that it'll cost up to $11.6 million to do all the upgrades and water and electrical work. How can we justify that amount of money?
The cost is a red herring in all of this. It's meaningless. It's a drop in the bucket in the city's overall infrastructure budget, and it's money that's going to have to be spent with the repairs that are necessary anyway. So those barriers are going to come down. The only question is if we put them back up at additional cost.
I don't see for the cost, the real bang for the buck on it at all.
Do you think it's justified in opening up?
Yeah, if it's for safety of the people, it's like no cost is too high.
From my understanding of the budget, $6.1 million is going towards the actual reopening of Portage Main, which is going to be, there's water damage in the concourse, there's some asbestos issues, that's like taking out the barricades, putting in the infrastructure for safe crossings. And then on top of that, the city has committed some extra money to investing in some more buses that are going to be using downtown routes to kind of like ease congestion issue concerns that people have. And I think in like the wider scope of the city's infrastructure budget, like $6.1 million is less than 1% of the city's infrastructure budget. It's a really small price tag for infrastructure, if you think in comparison to widening Keniston or the Waverly Underpass or the extension of Chief Pegwest, which are all like hundreds of millions of dollars. Downtown is worth the investment. I think it's our core. It's where we're getting a huge revenue base in terms of taxes. And we're going to see the return on investment from that. There's been studies that have shown that for every dollar that you put into making neighborhoods more walkable, there's an $18 return on investment for that. And we don't see the same return on investment for other infrastructure projects all the time. Like it might make, roads smoother or easier to transport from A to B, but you don't see that like on street level retaining in the neighborhood return on investment for projects all the time. And I think there's like a really clear return for that $6.1 million.
Now, with an estimated $11.6 million price tag for opening up Portage Main, how do you justify that opening with that cost?
Obviously, there's costs involved. The other thing is that the underground and the barricades themselves, no matter whether we vote yes or no, need to be replaced. They are falling apart. They were built sometime in the 70s and they're ending their useful life anyways. That's still going to be a cost to replace or tear down those barricades nonetheless.
As you can see, there's a lot of different opinions about Portage Main. Whatever you think, get out there and vote on October 24th.